So, we started Masechet Eruvin last week, and it's all about domains and so on and so forth. Now, about domains, I just could not help myself from thinking about the most common domain out there. And it's not yeshiva@etzion.com. By the way, if you have any questions, you can reach us at rabbigaon@gmail.com. If you want to make a donations that we always need, you can go to the Yeshiva website, yeshiva@etzion.com. There's a donate / over there, or tab over there. You can do it. But what I was thinking about, the first most elementary domain is Arba Amot, 4 Amot, which is about what? That's about 6 feet. And that's a domain of the person. And we say that usually it will be like a circle when the person is in the middle. So it's going to be 2 and 2, right? And 2 for here, 2 for here, and so on and so forth. Now, of course, if it's going to be 2, the question is if it's going to be 2 exactly, around me, or it's 2 for my shoulder, 2 for my shoulder, and then whatever my shoulder is going to be 6 of them, right? And we always refer to this Arba Amot shel Halacha, the 4 Amot of Halacha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has, and 4 Amot and this and 4 Amot. It comes all the time. When a person needs to, let's say he needs to remove something in Reshut HaRabim, pachot mi Arba Amot, less than 4 Amot. 4 Amot is something, why do I really need that measurement of 4 Amot? And why is the Torah or Chazal are so obsessed with territories, with domains? This is a public domain, this is a private domain, this is not so much, this is makom patur. Yeah, so you tell me it's to define things and so on, but I'm going to tell you there's something else. You gotta listen. I have to tell you, or I don't have to tell you, but you have to listen, that this has to do with life. And that's where Torah becomes a part of life. And the question is, when I learn other things, how do I apply it to my life as a Torah observant person? And how do I, quote unquote, make Torah out of everything? So, there are a lot of things in life. And especially in this time of our, the time that we are at, we realize, with the coronavirus and everything that comes avalanching because of that, we realize one thing. You see this is an empty page, right? Empty page. And I'm going to make a circle on it for you. And the circle is this. This huge, almost like a Zen circle. See? Huge circle. And that is going to be, I write in the circle, things what I'm writing here in hieroglyphics is things that we can't control, things that we cannot control. So remember this, have this in mind, things that we can't control, cannot control. I'm going to put this to the side. Then, we're going to take a pause and I'm going to tell you a story. I read a book years ago from this Navy SEAL, or ex-Navy SEAL. His name is Mark Owen. And he brought something very interesting in that book. He talks, in a very honest way, he talks about the way he dealt with things, his fears, his ability, his lack of ability to do certain things, and at the end became a very prominent and capable Navy SEAL. And he says that one of the things that he had, besides being a bad swimmer, that he was afraid of heights. And being a Navy SEAL, that doesn't really go so well. So he said, he assigned himself to some kind of a course that the Navy SEALs were giving, climbing rocks, and they were assigned him to work in Las Vegas with his private civilians to climb mountains. So he took another guy, and the other guy was also afraid of heights. The other Navy SEAL, but of course nobody would say anything to anyone. And they start climbing. Now, in secure climbing, is you have to climb and you have to put your anchors every 3 meters. So every 3 meters is about 9 feet or so. You have to put anchors. So if you fall, the only thing you would fall is down to that point. You're going to fall, 9 feet. You will fall down to that thing, and you'll be secured and so on and so on. You will keep on. So he said, I have a friend of heights. I'm going to go the extra mile. Instead of doing every 3 meters, I'm going to put anchors every 1.5 meters. So if I fall, I don't fall, so much, because I'm, after all, afraid of heights. So he's climbing and climbing and climbing, and then he takes one. He said, "Oh, that's I guess I'm not into climbing, unfortunately. He guess that's the blue one. He likes the blue one. That's number 4. His lucky number. He puts it in. And then he goes, he says, I don't have any more anchors. The guy behind him says, okay, are you going? And now he said, I'm looking at, ahead of me, a wall that it's like glass. There's nowhere to hold. My hands are holding like this. I'm in like a crazy position. He says, I'm looking, I see the strip of Las Vegas. He said, oh my goodness, I wish I could be there, have a beer now. He's looking down. He's 180 feet up, 180 feet up in the air. 60 meters up in the air. That's pretty high. And he's stuck. And the guy said, no, And now he doesn't have anything. As he's thinking, he's like, in his misery, like he doesn't know what to do anymore. You see the instructor that comes in without any secure, ropes or anchoring, just climbing. It's basically like a spider climbing like this, goes around him, comes like this, gives him a whole load of the things like this, and says, no, okay, what are you going to do now? And then he says the magic sentence. He says, concentrate on your own 3 feet. He said, don't think about the strip, don't think about the height, don't think about anything. Concentrate on your thing. And he said, as the guy is doing that, he's smoking a cigarette. He's like his whooping. And it's like he said, I'm gonna name Yeshiva. The guy is just standing like this on top of a rock with my hands. I'm talking to him like this. And then all of a sudden he hit him. And he said, I had to kind of focus myself. And I had to, so all of a sudden I realized that I put my hand and I actually reached the ledge. And that's something that he took with him along the line. It's concentrating on your own 3 feet, or the 3 feet ahead of you. And that comes to understand one thing. We face in life many situations, and most of the things in life are situations in which we cannot control, and that's what we get all bamboozled by. So now I'm going to make you another picture. Since I'm so good at arts and crafts, I love that. I'm going to make you here a circle, right? And that's going to be things that you could control. You see, by the way, let me just show you. Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Exhibit A, they're things that you can control. There's a lot of this. Things you cannot control, a lot. These are things that you could control, much less. And I made it like this. And it's even probably more, just so you could see. So these are things you can control. These are things you cannot control. Okay? So now, again, these are things you can control. So I'm going to put the things you could control, and let's concentrate on this. This, what you do, is the following. Don't bother yourself with things that you cannot control. Concentrate on what you could control. Concentrate on what it is with your ability to control. Concentrate on your own 4 amot. So Chachamim have a different measure than Mark Owen or the guy over there. He says you're 3 feet, they say 4 amot. Concentrate on your domain, whatever is in your ability to control. Then we're going to introduce another thing. Then I'm going to introduce to you another circle into this wonderful thing here. And that is things and here are things that matter. Things that matter and things that you could control, things that matter, things that you could control. They are colliding with one another. So you need to find an area in which you should focus and concentrate. So if I'm going to tell you, well, 1 minute, Rabbi, I have a question for you. You told me that this is my domain. This is my things, that is my 3 feet or my 4 amot that I need to concentrate on, right? And I'm going to tell you, hold on. Now, that area over here that I'm going to try to make it black. These are with an arrow here. Okay. Oh, I love it. This black area right here are things that you should focus on in order for you to succeed, in order for you not to get swollen by the tsunami of life or whatever life throws at you. You need to find that spot here, that the things that matter and the things that are your control overlap one another, and that is the only thing you should focus on. What it matters, and you see, there is a big spectrum here. There's a lot of things that matter, but out of the things that matter, not everything overlaps with things that are in your control. And sometimes things that are in your control are not that important. So if you'll be able to define that black area here of things that are important, things that matter, that if you do it, it will make a difference. And you'll be able to define that area of things that are within your control and concentrate on that black area. That is what you should be focusing on. That is what you should concentrate on. This is with your ability to change. That's what counts. That's what matters. So it doesn't make a difference if, Kamala Harris was born in Hawaii or she was born in Timbuktu. No, I don't really care. It's nothing to do with me. It has nothing I control. That's why, again and again, I don't watch news. I don't care about the news. It's not within my control. It might matter to me, but it's not in my control. If the government, the federal government, decides to increase the taxes in 50% or to decrease the taxes in 50%, it is not in my control. The end I will see it in my bank account. What is my control is my wallet, for example. How much money do I need to spend on certain things? I define that. That's how you, for example, create a balance. You go according to what you need to buy, the things that are matter. Yes, I mean, I could buy, for example, a Gucci shirt or some kind of funky sandals, whatever. But I don't need it. It doesn't make a difference to me. I don't need it, so I don't buy it. And everything in life, in order for you to be successful, because most people are not successful because they are concentrated on that paper that I just threw, on things that are not in their control, and things on the other, actually there are 4 things. The things that are not in your control, and things that don't matter. I just didn't have enough papers. I forgot to ask another one. It's just pointless. We deal with things that don't matter, and we deal with things that are not in our control, and that's where we get nowhere in life. You want to focus, you want to be successful, you want to focus on something, you want to achieve something, you want to solve problems. Hey, not a problem. Define the black area between things that are in your control, between things that matter. That's what you should focus on. That's your thing. Don't worry about the height that you're in. Don't worry about anything else. Just worry about putting one hand in front of the other. This is in your ability. This is in your control. That's what matters right now. Just do it like that. Now, we have problems. How do we solve the problems? Well, there are many ways to solve problems. Well, first of all, in solving problems, you need to want to change a situation. Sometimes things will be your problem. Well, you need to solve the problem. So, option number one is, well, maybe there are better ones, but option number one, stay miserable. Stay within your problem and complain. Stay miserable. Change it. You don't like it, you don't want to change it, just stay like this. Stay miserable. That's one way to deal with problems. Another way to deal with problems is to change your attitude. Change your attitude, the way you look at things. You know, for example, you don't need to feel entitled, you don't need to feel like you deserve things and so on and so forth. You know, change your attitude about things. Get up and do something about it. But you need to get up and do something about it. And the last one, I mean, that's at least I can think of, is solve your problem. Solve your problem. Whatever the problem, sit down. If your friend will come to you and say, listen, I have a problem and so on and so forth, that's my problem. So, well, how would you tell your friend to solve the problem? What would you tell him to do? You know, giving him intelligent advice, how would you tell the person to do? Solve the problem. So let's say, for example, you have a problem, let's say, with learning Gemara. Okay, so you don't, for whatever reason, you cooked in your own juice, you can't seem to solve the problem of how to better learn Gemara, argument's sake. Fine, so let's say I'm coming to you now and I'm saying to you, listen, buddy boy, I have my dear friend, I have a problem. So what's your problem? Now you're intelligent, you're putting your smart head on. I don't know how to learn Gemara, what should I do about it? And you would tell them, you come with a whole entire plan and so on and so forth. You would not tell your friend, well, you know, just stay like this or just stop learning, who needs it? That's a very bad advice. You would make up a plan. Well, that's very nice. Sit down with yourself, you have a problem, see how you solve the problem. Change your attitude, decide to solve the problem and do it. That's how you deal with problems. Because this is with your ability, that is the gray area that we were talking about. The black, you know, between things that matters to me, and it's in my control, that's what I'm going to focus on. And that would apply to everything. So now when Chachamim are trying to tell us what is this domain and what is that domain and how big it is and how wide it is, those definitions extend beyond just a geographical, geometrical, you know, configurations. Chachamim are trying to tell you other things. There are public domains, things that have to do with the public, things that have to do with the individual, things that have to do with you, and we see it many times. I mean, when a person goes to a desert, and let's say he goes to a place, and he wants to walk a certain tchum. So from where you are, you decide. Let's say you have to work how much? What's tchum Shabbat?
2,000 amot.
2,000 amot. 2,000 amot to which direction?
Either way.
You decide whatever you want. 1,000 here, 1,000 there, 2,000, whichever way you want. It's your domain. If you're allowed to carry, you're allowed to carry within your domain because that is with your ability. So when you look and you learn Masechet Eruvin, don't just look at the technicality of it. That's very nice to look at things in a certain way. But I want to suggest to you a different way to look at the Gemara. Look at the Gemara from a practical point of view. When there is, for example, a mentioning of a plant, try to look for you have an internet, for crying out, you have a telephone with all the words at the tip of your fingers. Try to find this flower. They talk about certain things, I don't know, Sartia, they're talking about a city, you know, a plaza. So go look at places that there is a plaza, you know, plaza in Santa Fe, there's a plaza in Venice, see what they're talking about. Try to walk around and make the Torah alive for you. That's within your ability. That's the things that matter. You can do it, you can change it. But you need to want to change it. And so on and so forth for everything else in life. So if you have problems and you have issues and you don't know, you're feeling lost and you're feeling overwhelmed, whether you don't know what to do with your life, whether you don't know what to do or to approach your learning, or you reach a certain level of stagnation, you're stuck, you don't know anything about it, you just concentrate on your own Arba Hamot, on your own 6 feet, on your own 3 feet if you are Navy SEAL. I think you should basically concentrate anywhere between 3 to 6 feet. That's all it is. You know, concentrate on whatever your ability is to control and your ability to change and what it matters to you right now for this accomplishing of the task. And that's it. We have other things to learn. But that's what I'm talking about. Now here, yes, you're going to tell me, but Rabbi, you just took something that is so secular, Navy SEALs. You're right, okay, so what? If it helps me solve a problem, I don't have a problem with that. If that helps me to understand life better, that's not a problem. If I can apply it to Torah, that's not a problem. I don't have a problem with that. If you have a problem with that, hey, it's your problem. You solve it. I don't have a problem with this, so therefore I don't have to solve it. It's good for me. And that's what it is. So Rabbatai, remember these things. Remember the things that you can control. You need to define the things you can control, the things that are within your control. Define the things that matter, and then focus only on whatever overlaps between the things that are within your control and to the things that matter, and that's where you should put all your power. This is how you create a penetrative power, able to focus and break it. Right? This is like the jolt that you give to penetrate a brick or a board or whatever that you're playing in karate. And so on, to everything, to every task in life. You simply need to define domains. That's why I would encourage you all to learn Masachet Eruvin. A wonderful day.